After the excitement here, ITV4 has highlights from all the matches now with Champions League Tuesday Extra. While on ITV1, Quentin Wilson reports on the terror on our roads in a Tonight special, Death Race 2007.
Tonight, the Fast and the Furious.
That's the worst riding of a motorcycle I've ever seen. It's just madness.
It's both suicidal and homicidal.
Harmless fun or deadly danger?
Tell me what you think when you see that.
I think he's very capable of killing somebody.
Yet you host it on your site, mate.
Oh, we most certainly are hosting it.
Don't you think you have an obligation not to run stuff like this?
No, I don't.
Putting the boy racers to the test.
Brake, brake, brake. We're going around the corner now at 100 miles an hour with one hand.
If we don't slow him down, he's going to kill himself, and God forbid he's going to kill someone else.
Good evening. Speeding through our streets at speeds in excess of 100 miles an hour is dangerous enough. But imagine how much more difficult it is to keep control if you're filming yourself at the same time. Well, that's exactly what boy racers up and down the country are doing in the new craze that involves recording themselves driving at wild and excessive speeds, then posting their films on the internet. But as motoring journalist Quentin Wilson has been finding out, many of these young men have poor driving skills and little idea of the deadly consequences of their behavior.
Believe it or not, footage like this is just part of the latest trend in entertainment. Websites are hosting homemade videos of mad and dangerous driving. This clip of a drag race that goes horribly wrong has been viewed over 20,000 times.
These days, it's so easy to film yourself on your mobile and post it on the internet. Watch. Hello, I'm Quentin Wilson, and I'm investigating the scary and dangerous phenomenon of people filming themselves with their mobile phones, doing mad, bad things in cars and on motorbikes, and then posting it onto websites. All you do now is into your laptop, onto a website, and literally, within minutes, the world could be watching.
That guy is crazy. I hope you're getting it.
We've discovered an extensive catalogue of alarming internet footage. Now, I don't want to be hypocritical about this. I've broken the speed limit and I watch shows like Police Camera Action. But here's the crucial difference. Programs like that carry an important road safety and anti-crime message. Websites with material like this don't. And the fear is they encourage other boy racers to outdo each other. So we make no apology for showing the footage. To understand why I'm so troubled by this new craze, you'll have to see things for yourself. This was filmed by 18-year-old Nathan Campbell in May this year. He recorded it on his mobile phone while he was driving on the M65 motorway near Burnley. He showed it to his friend, who then posted it onto YouTube.
I was just holding the phone as I was driving down the motorway.
One hand on the wheel?
Yeah. And just driving at speed, you know.
Filming the speedometer needle?
Yeah, yeah. But, you know, it sounds a lot dangerous than what it is because it's a straight road. You know, a lot of things could have happened, but it didn't.
Nathan, it's mental.
Yeah.
It's bonkers, mad, crazy. Because you were overtaken on the hard shoulder. Why? What was all that all about?
It was stupid. It were, really.
What were you trying to achieve?
Just to do it because I could do it.
The police arrested Nathan after discovering his footage on the internet. He was sentenced to 4 months in prison with a 3-year driving ban. And what made you do that? Did you see it happening? Did you see it with somebody else?
It's all over YouTube. There's loads of them on YouTube.
So you saw it and thought, I'm going to do that, I'll have a piece of that?
Well, yeah, in a way, because I had the power there to do it. I thought, everyone else is doing it, so why not?
And what would you say to someone who is right now looking on the internet and seeing this sort of thing and thinking, OK, I'm going to go out, I'm going to just get that needle, 130, 140, 150. What would you say, Nathan?
Don't do it. You can go to jail, you lose your job, you lose everything. Just think about what you've got, and if you do it, you're going to lose everything.
While Nathan regrets making the video, YouTube continues to carry many clips featuring people driving at reckless and illegal speeds. YouTube have told us that they have a very successful flagging system that lets users alert them to inappropriate content. When a video is flagged, we review it against our terms of use and remove it if the video breaks these standards. Footage like people driving fast in cars is commonplace on television, so this sort of content is not only found on the internet. If there is any illegal activity taking place, or if the police think that a video may be evidence of a crime, we encourage the police to get in touch. The amount of footage featuring illegal racing and hazardous antics is staggering. But just how dangerous is it, and what, if anything, can be done about it? To find out, we've assembled a special panel.
It's just madness.
Deputy Chief Constable Adam Briggs has the national responsibility for European roads policing.
There's no place for that on the public highway whatsoever.
Edmund King is Executive Director for road safety charity, the RAC Foundation.
Definitely we should be worried it's an increasing problem and it's getting worse.
And Lee Sweetland, a former boy racer who admits to driving his motorbike at dangerous speeds whilst capturing his antics on camera.
Gentlemen, welcome and thank you for agreeing to watch tonight's selection of bad driving clips. Now, first up, we have a clip from the Max Power magazine website of cars racing through a tunnel in the UK. Now, if you listen very carefully, you can hear the sound of young children in the back of the car.
Personally, I was appalled by that. They're clearly racing through that tunnel. It's very dangerous. There are young children in the back of that vehicle and a real risk. I'm appalled by that.
The two cars are driving very close together. It only takes one to brake and the other one will smash into it. So it's both suicidal and homicidal.
Do the internet providers have a moral responsibility to stop posting this sort of stuff, not allowing it?
It's hugely irresponsible, and when I look at images like this, they are targeted at young people, and around 40% of people who die on our roads are young people. So I think it's hugely irresponsible, and I think we must do more to challenge it and actually have it taken off the internet.
Now, we spoke to Max Power, and they gave us a statement. We wish to make it clear that Max Power doesn't condone dangerous or illegal driving, and they go on to say that the clip in question was not filmed or originated by Max Power, but it should not have been shown on the Max Power website. The clip's been removed, and we've reviewed and tightened our editorial policy to ensure that this doesn't happen again.
However, not all websites are apologetic about showing such clips. Some are designed for showcasing mayhem and madness on Britain's roads.
I'm Monty from Medway in Kent, and I run a video website called Mischief Inc.
Monty and his friends film footage themselves, but their website also receives videos filmed by others on the streets. The website receives about 1,000 hits a week. It's not surprising that the more extreme the footage, the bigger the audience.
Here we have a Volvo at one of the more popular places that people tend to hang out, performing some drifting practice here. It's a bit dangerous, and if he loses control, he will obviously hit something or someone. But it's what people want to see, because it's entertainment.
But will our panel be entertained? We showed them footage from the website, including a flaming car exhaust lighting a firework.
It's so dangerous again, such high risk, and to have these images available to people, it is wrong, and Monty needs to be stopped.
We decided to spend a couple of nights with Monty and his friends in Kent to find out exactly what happens on a typical weekend.
quite often people come up here around 8, 9 o'clock. They meet up, they have a little chat, a little talk, and then what would happen is one guy would decide to show off a little bit, and that will then attract other people to attempt to race him.
Monty's friend and website co-founder Matt says that they're not responsible for what happens, and the website is just a reflection of what's going on.
Basically, we have no control of what people do. I mean, people do their own devices. I mean, we actually just run a website.
What's the name of the website?
Mischief Inc.
Okay. Why do you call it Mischief Inc?
It's just for people's mischief. You know, not necessarily bad again, because you're going to portray this as bad, but it's not all bad. It's fun stuff.
So you're promoting road safety, yeah? People will say when they hear this sort of stuff that this is potentially very dangerous. It's a narrow road, there's cars parked, there's people here. I have to ask you this question.
Yeah.
You know, that is like, it's out of order, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
But these amateur racers don't just meet in deserted industrial estates. They're burning rubber in residential areas all across Britain. And they're kind of unrepentant about it, because in a recent survey, 6 out of 10 young drivers admitted to driving at illegal, life-threatening speeds through towns and villages on a weekly basis.
Coming up in part 2, we put boy racers to the test with touring car legend Jason Plato.
Brake, 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 more brakes.
We discover if they're as good and as safe at driving as they actually think they are.
He's a real problem. He has zero technique. He's one of the worst drivers I've ever sat with.
Crazy footage like this is part of the new trend in entertainment sweeping the internet. However, more often than not, dangerous driving can end with disastrous consequences.
Straight on, near side lane.
The person driving this car is about to wreck someone's life. He's driving at high speed through the streets of Blackpool.
Ambulance at the prom, please.
The driver was later caught and sentenced to 5 years in prison for dangerous driving. Stuart Fisher never fully recovered from his injuries.
It has totally wrecked my life, and not only my family, but obviously friends as well. I've had to relearn everything right from the start. Learning how to breathe and aid it from a machine, and obviously how to speak again.
He's on the wrong side of the road and he's continued straight. Stand by, he's left, left, left.
Dangerous driving causes over 100 serious injuries every week, some as devastating as Stuart's.
Day-to-day life for us as a family is frustrating because he wants to walk. We walk him with a frame around the house, but obviously his problem is his balance. He was a good sportsman, he enjoyed sport, he was never any problem at home, in lots of ways he was fine. Why should this happen to him?
People who record their crazy driving on their mobile phones and then they go and post the recording on the internet. What would you say to that?
I think really, are they aware of what they're creating? Because all they're doing is glorifying these irresponsible, illegal, silly acts, speeding, creating mayhem on the roads, creating problems for people, and really all they're doing is broadcasting this odious message.
This biker's footage was recorded in South Yorkshire and posted onto a website called Live Leak. This video hasn't just been seen by thousands or tens of thousands. Over 220,000 people have watched it. Just look at the speedo in the bottom left corner. Police are still hunting this biker, and if they get him, at 176 miles an hour, he'd be Britain's fastest speeder.
That's the worst riding of a motorcycle I've ever seen. I think it's shocking, quite frankly.
Irrespective of the speed there, those single carriageway rural roads, those are our most dangerous roads. And what you had there, you had someone doing 3 times the speed limit. And I think, you know, some of these guys could perhaps learn a thing or two from the racing drivers who are trained to drive like that. They know what will kill them, they know what won't, and there's a place for it, and it's certainly not on the public highway.
We decided to take this advice. These lads are self-confessed boy racers, and Nathan Campbell, our 140-mile-an-hour driver, is certainly in the need of a driving lesson.
Victory for Jason Plato. He wins race 3 of the day.
So we enlisted the help of British touring car legend Jason Plato to put these boys through their paces and assess whether they're as good and as safe as they think they are. And there's only one place to do that, the home of British motor racing, Silverstone.
Hi guys. How you doing, right? Well, from what I've been told by Quentin, you're all quick lads. We're going to find out not necessarily how quick you are today, because you all believe you are going to be quick, but how safe you are. But hopefully by the end of the day we'd like to try and make you a little bit safer and more aware of what can happen in cars. So, are we all up for a bit of that?
Yep.
Yeah. Good.
First up, Scott.
I can honestly say, and I'm not saying this just because the TV cameras are on, you're not a good driver.
Yeah.
And I would say now, I'd put my house on it. If you're driving fast on a public road, with the level of ability and knowledge you've got, you are not safe.
No.
Next, we have Nathan.
We're now charging off around a track you've never been before.
Yeah.
We're doing 100 mile an hour now. You don't know what's coming up here, do you?
Yeah.
What?
No,
Slow
you're right.
corner, tight corner?
No, you're right.
So you got no idea?
No.
You are putting yourself and others at risk.
Yeah.
When you're going quick, a small mistake turns into a big mistake very quickly.
Yeah.
Third, Mark. His cornering caused a bit of concern.
If you do that on a road and it tightens up like that, and a lorry's been around and dumped diesel,
Yep.
you're going off.
And Nathan Campbell, our 140-mile-an-hour speeder, was, as you can imagine, slightly unfamiliar with the brake.
We're doing 100 mile an hour now. You need to brake, brake, brake. If we were on the roads now, I'd feel very, very unsafe. We're going around the corner now at 100 mile an hour with one hand. It's not good stuff, Nathan.
No.
So on the brakes, brake, 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 more brakes. He's a real problem. He has zero technique. He's one of the worst drivers I've ever sat with, and yet he professes to be passionate about driving. He drives quick. He got nicked 140 mile an hour. He is a liability. He is dangerous. He's a real problem. If we don't slow him down, he's going to kill himself, and God forbid, he's going to kill someone else. It's shocking, shocking. A real worry.
OK, Jason, the unvarnished truth, your verdict. What I want to know is, given what you've seen on a public road, have they got what it takes to survive, and is there any kind of capability there?
No. In all honesty, no.
Are you listening? Right, have you learnt anything?
I've learnt a lot, I've learnt a lot, and I will calm down now because you've drummed into me that it ain't just my life at the end of the day. Maybe on the way home something did happen and I did like have a crash with someone else and it was my fault and someone died or that he's bad. I don't want no one else's life in my hands, really.
I came here thinking that I was a better driver than what I actually was and just set the record straight. I'm not quite as good as what I thought I was.
And Mr. 140 YouTube, your thoughts?
Yeah, definitely leave it to track, you know. Drive steady on the road, you know. Just calm down. Yeah, I've definitely learnt something today. Definitely.
If our boy racers are prepared to change their ways, the man behind the site that hosts these clips isn't.
My name's Hayden. I'm one of the co-founders of LiveLeak.com.
LiveLeak features some of the most extreme clips found on the internet and gets nearly 600,000 viewers a day.
And would I be wrong in saying that there is a content there that is violent and shocking?
No, you wouldn't be wrong. There is violent and shocking material on LiveLeak.
let's talk about this particular clip, which is worrying us. And this is the clip of a guy on a motorcycle doing 176 miles an hour, which you've got classified in your entertainment section.
Okay.
Tell me what you think when you see that.
I think he's suicidal and very capable of killing somebody.
Yet you host it on your site, mate.
Oh, we most certainly are hosting it.
Don't you think you have an obligation not to run stuff like this?
No, I don't.
So if I said to you, why don't you take this off? Why don't you just remove it? Because it's not in the public good. What would you say to that?
If you say, we're going to remove that because it's morally wrong, where do we stop removing things because they're morally wrong? Removing the video is not going to stop them getting hit by a motorcycle on Woodhead travelling at 176 miles an hour.
It might, Hayden.
And we both know it won't.
It might, and the might is the important thing between life and death. But are Live Leak and similar websites that host such material actually doing anything wrong? Do the police have any powers in place in relation to showing illegal and dangerous driving? So what, in terms of legislation, have you got on your side to actually bring these people to court?
Well, currently I think we're struggling legislation-wise with it. Certainly, having seen what I've seen today and heard of instances around the country, that's something I want to talk to the government about, because I'm very concerned about this.
Finally, this is what happens when it all goes hideously, hideously wrong. And you are sitting next to the guy who actually did that. Lee, that's you.
Yes, it is, yeah.
Why?
That would seem like a cool idea at the time, but obviously not now.
But you were all right, obviously, and no serious injuries?
No serious injuries. I managed to land in a hedge, and I just damaged ligaments in the back of my knee, and just general cuts and bruises. So very lucky.
We've spoken to some of the websites who have hosted this material, and they say that this is just real life. This represents what's happening out there. What would you say to that?
I would say that that is no excuse whatsoever. Some of these exploits that you're seeing could lead to death on the roads, and you know, there's no place for that. I think they continue showing that kind of stuff and you get copycat people, well, they'll have blood on their hands.
Quentin Wilson reporting. The government told us they take all crime extremely seriously and asked the public to report any criminal acts, including those seen online. They're currently in discussion with relevant organizations to find the best way of dealing with those who post online videos featuring criminal acts. And there is more information on our website at itv.com/tonight. We're back on Friday night at 8 o'clock. Until then, from all of us here, goodbye and thank you for joining us.
Tomorrow.
We need a job. We need a high-paying job.
Well, now we're too hot to work anywhere in this country.
So we go abroad.
They're back. Join George Clooney and Brad Pitt and an all-star cast. Movie premiere Ocean's 12 is at 9. We have